Coming up in the Bahamas tonight, the post-election initiatives the Free National Movement says it will deliver as the party looks to convince the electorate it deserves another term in office. The charge a man is facing that's linked to the fledgling Volunteer Bahamas program, and find out how one of the country's main industries measures up worldwide. All those stories and more straight ahead in the Bahamas tonight.
Covering the islands of the Bahamas, ZNS Network presents The Bahamas Tonight.
This portion of the news is brought to you by McDonald's. McDonald's, I'm loving it.
Good evening and welcome to the Bahamas Tonight, the National Report. I'm Keishla Adderley. Thanks for joining us. Topping the news tonight, chanting the refrain, "We deliver," Free National Movement supporters rallied around party leader and Prime Minister Hubert Ingraham last night as he promised a series of post-election initiatives which will mark what he hopes will be another consecutive term of F&M governance. Recalling the achievements of the last 5 years, Mr. Ingraham introduced the 38 candidates who he says present a mix of talent, experience and youth. Shanique Miller has the story.
There is no need for the Bahamas to repeat 2002 again.
With the We Deliver theme dominating last night's launch, Prime Minister Ingraham took the country on a quick tour, reminding them just what his administration delivered in the last 5 years. A new Lyndon Pindling International Airport, a national stadium, a new cargo port, straw market, the Jumpstart program, self-starters, a national job readiness and training program, a newly dredged Nassau Harbour, and the New Providence Road Improvement Project. Record secured, the Prime Minister then shifted his focus on how his administration will continue to build, empower, and deliver in the next 5 years.
The construction of a new maternal and child health wing and a new emergency department at the Princess Margaret Hospital.
Having already introduced an unemployment benefit program, Ingraham announced plans to further expand the 13-week provision.
Doubling the period for unemployment benefit from 30 to 26 weeks, expanding the prescription drug plan to cover all workers and their families in the Bahamas, establishing a catastrophic health insurance scheme for all, improving the relevance of social safety nets and public assistance program by introducing a program of conditional cash transfers. We will no longer be giving the poor a voucher. We'll be giving the poor cash. But it'll be cash, that'll be conditional. You get my cash, let me get a certificate certifying to send all them children to school every day this week. Let me make sure you have that child to the doctor. The child is vaccinated. There'll be conditions.
On the issue of crime and getting young people involved in a volunteer program, there's plans for that too. The Prime Minister said Manifesto 2012 as part of its agenda, a Bahamas Youth Development Corps. He described how the program will work and the benefits to entice young people to come on board.
That enables young Bahamians between the ages of 18 and 25 to volunteer their time at homework centers, after-school programs, assisting the elderly, the disabled, the disadvantaged, and earn monies towards higher education or entrepreneurship.
Grand Bahamas being prominently featured on the F&M's agenda for 2012 through 2017, the economy in particular will see new business in the way of government agencies. Mr. Ingraham announced just how government will drive business into the nation's second city.
We will relocate several departments and at least one ministry to Grand Bahama, including local government and maritime affairs. We'll implement additional policies to support job creation in the private sector, and ensuring increased numbers of Bahamians are trained and prepared to assume those jobs, as well as new jobs, as well as existing jobs now filled by international persons due to the scarcity of trained Bahamians in certain fields.
The sneak peek of Manifesto 2012 disclosed plans to create seaside parks so more Bahamians can have an opportunity to enjoy the water, new low and middle income housing projects, and an acceleration of granting Crown land. Ingraham says he's putting systems in place that will benefit the next generation of Bahamians.
You can trust us for this is the team that will deliver.
Shanique Miller, ZNS News.
The Free National Movement's youngest candidate is a 30-year-old woman. There are 17 new faces in all, 9 of them women. Prime Minister Ingram said his party's team is qualified, hardworking and competent, and ready to work on the people's business. Now, during last night's launch, supporters at the Crystal Palace Casino and Ballroom and others around the country got a chance to hear from the party's newcomers. Taking to the stage first was South Eleuthera candidate Howard Johnson. Johnson says this administration's record of putting people first is unbeatable.
Keep saying over and over, those other folk, that the FNM government is all about things and not people. A couple of months ago, our party leader, the Honorable Prime Minister, came to Tarpon Bay, Eleuthera, where he opened a reverse osmosis plant to provide clean piped and potable water to the residents in South Eleuthera. Now that thing, see, the reverse osmosis plant is a thing, but it benefited some people. Fire! It benefited the people of South Eleuthera, even some PLPs and some DNAs.
I strongly believe that our best days are ahead of us, and that together as Free National Movement members, we will make a difference. And also, as we've always heard, actions speak louder than words.
I believe that the Bahamas is the best place in the world. I believe that we as Bahamians have been blessed beyond measure to have been given this country to steward as our very own.
The FNM is a party of structure, discipline, and order. These were the principles which I led the BDM, and these were the principles that attracted me to the Free National Movement. As we spied out the land, contrary to some of the Israelites, we found no giant there. Oh, okay, yes, sir, there was a giant checkbook, but I tell the folks, every penny that is spent, it is payment for services never rendered. Mr. Prime Minister, we are well able to possess that land.
I can say with confidence to the people of Carmichael that if you want somebody who has demonstrated a commitment to serving others, I am your man.
So for the last 2 years, I have remained in Elizabeth. And tonight, I tell you that Dr. Dwayne Sands will deliver Elizabeth.
Now, the opposition Progressive Liberal Party says the Free National Movement is kicking sand in the eyes of Bahamian voters, hoping they won't notice the truth right in front of them. The PLP responded to last night's FNM candidate launch, noting that with record levels of violent crime and an economy failing to keep pace with regional neighbors, FNM leader the Right Honourable Hubert Ingram was forced to serve up infrastructural improvements as the rationale for his re-election. The PLP says in the middle of a recession, Mr. Ingram hired foreign contractors and workers to build Bahamian roads. They say the road works in New Providence, financed by heavy borrowing from abroad, have been plagued by poor planning, conflicts of interest, shoddy work, long delays, and cost overruns to the tune of tens of millions of dollars. The PLP claims residents and small businesses have suffered terribly, and perhaps understanding that his rationale for re-election is built on quicksand, the opposition claimed Mr. Ingram went on the attack, offering tired and recycled lies about the PLP. Criminal charges have been filed against a man suspected of fraud linked to the National Volunteer Program. 21-year-old Jerron Bain was arraigned in court today for allegedly using the Volunteer Bahamas program to solicit funds from pastors and doctors. Court papers allege that on Tuesday, November 8th of last year, Bain obtained $300 cash from Reverend T.G. Morrison by means of false pretenses. Prosecutors also allege that he defrauded Dr. Cleveland Eneas of $150 cash 10 days later. Bain is also charged with defrauding Reverend Rupert Smith of $200 on December 15th. Now, Bain has denied the charges. He was also allegedly caught with a forged Royal Bank check on November 28th, and he's accused of uttering a forged document. The Saunders Acres resident pleaded not guilty to the fraud charges and was granted $5,000 bail along with one surety. He is due back in court on January 18th. Now, in light of these allegations, co-chair of Volunteer Bahamas, Darren Turnquest, reminds the public that the only contributions Volunteer Bahamas is seeking is time, not money.
We ask members of the public to remain vigilant and kindly report any incident of this nature to the police. Please note that staff of the Volunteer Bahamas Secretariat will only contact you regarding your application and participation in the program. Under no circumstance will any member of Volunteer Bahamas contact you to solicit funds or goods. Volunteer Bahamas is a program that does not require your finances, but simply your time.
Well, still to come in the Bahamas tonight, we'll tell you how the Bahamian maritime industry is staying on top. That story's after the break.